Dan, what's going on? Hey, so I'm sending you the documentation that I said I was going to make for you, kind of going over what we talked about whenever I came over a week or two ago about your kind of wellness prescription, your exercise plan, and meal plan. So I'm going to be sending you a couple things actually. The first thing is your actual wellness prescription, going over the kind of topics we talked about, and that's covering nutrition, kind of your activity level or exercise, sleep, and work. And I'm going to give you kind of core principles that I talked about, more abstract ideas to follow, and then more practical tips how to honor those principles. And this is all keeping in mind your kind of overall goal, which you said was to get from 220 pounds to 200 pounds by June for your Mexico trip. Totally more than possible. Totally have enough time for that easily. And you were showing your motivation was kind of fear of being limited as you age, you were saying. And also, more confidence, you want to lose your gut, lose your visceral fat. So let's get into it. So for nutrition, as we talked about, the main thing that I said that you want to keep in mind is more color in your meals. We talked about your meals were kind of very monotone in color. There also wasn't a lot of fruits and vegetables. So the main thing you want to keep in mind is color, keeping it colorful. And I got some pictures at the bottom of this document that you can look at as a point of reference and just see the vibrant colors in there. If your meals look like that, then you're good. So more colors in your meals, more diversity in the colors and the textures and the different kinds of foods that you eat. But definitely more fruits and vegetables as well, right? More whole foods. Those are the principles to live by. Now the practical kind of tips, as we talked about, was, set yourself up for success. So in your environment at home, buy less processed, snack foods in groceries than whole foods and good, whole foods. And not only that, but then how about also hide or put those processed foods in more difficult positions to access, right? Put it in the garage, put it in, far in the corner in the garage, somewhere where it's inconvenient for you to get them. And put the whole foods, the good foods, very easily accessible. Right out there in the kitchen, out in those buckets and those different things, so it's easy to grasp for you. So that's kind of a practical thing as well. And the next one for food is, and this gets into kind of the mindset, retraining as well as we got into, is figure out when you get these impulses to eat certain foods, where they're coming from. Why do I want to eat this food? What's the motivation in this moment? Am I bored? So is it that I need something something that's stimulating me? I'm going towards food for stimulation. Do I need to start learning some songs or some different genre of music for guitar? Maybe pick up a different instrument. Am I getting the necessary stimulation that I need, that I'm trying to supplement it with food? Am I frustrated after an argument with mom? Something like that. So that's for nutrition. Activity or exercise. And I want you to kind of think more in terms of activity than exercise, as we were talking about a little bit as well. It's if you're exercising intensely in the gym for 1 hour, 3 or 4 times a week, but you're sedentary the majority of the time outside of that, then it's not going to really produce drastic results for you. But if you're throughout your day, every day, you're making sure you're moving, doing jumping jacks, push-ups, whatever, you're at work, you're at the grocery store, when you're just aware that you've been sedentary for a while, take it upon yourself to move. That's all your body needs. Your body, its body composition is a reflection of the stimulus that you put upon it throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month. It becomes what it needs to become to adapt to the stimulus, that it undergoes. So again, if you want to have a lean, vibrant body, make sure you're active, throughout the day. So you're basically sending your body the message, hey, you can't be flabby, you can't be, unconditioned. You have to be conditioned and in shape because you're always moving. I'm always recruiting you for movement, for activity, for doing things. So that's huge. Try to think more in terms of activity than exercise. And then principle as well, just like with the food where I talked about, diversity, a variety, a color, food types, tastes, textures. You want that with your exercise as well. So you have a balanced exercise program. Now, you talked about the exercise program you have, and it seems pretty balanced. You're doing, all your different muscle groups, the different motions your body can go through, which is great. So for you, as we talked about, you can switch up the diversity in your sets. So the volume of sets that you do, the reps that you do. So again, doing, around 5, so you're developing more strength, or 8 to 10, you're developing more kind of building muscle, 15 to 20, you're doing more endurance training. So that's gonna keep your body guessing. Again, just like, we talked about, constantly keeping your body active to keep it guessing, to let it know it needs to be conditioned. When you change these up, it will as well. Your body won't get complacent and get in kind of a plateau and a routine. So reps, sets, intensity again. So some days maybe you go really heavy, really intense, and other days you're a little more laid back. And then the exercises again, constantly switch it up. When you're doing a pressing exercise, you could do a barbell bench press. You could do incline dumbbell bench press, right? You could sit on the medicine ball and do dumbbell presses with one arm, and then the next arm, and then the next arm. There's constant variations that you could do in these exercises. So switching up your exercises as well is going to keep your body guessing. And then the last thing on there for practical kind of for activity, as I talked about a little bit, was your intensity level. It sounded like if you were resting the short amount that you were, that your body wasn't getting adequately challenged in your sets. I don't know, because I'm not you. I'm not in your body. I don't see what you're doing. But like I said, it usually about at least a minute of a rest is needed for your body to get back to kind of optimal exertion, ability to exert itself. For me, I rest for a couple minutes. That's what I need before my body can get back to where it can do the same amount, the same load. All right, so that's activity. Sleep. The principle here is you're looking for quality. You want to make sure that you're getting quality sleep. It's not as important the quantity you get. You can get 6 hours of quality sleep and be ready to go. Now, with that being said, for a practical tip, you talked about you watch television and you'll fall asleep out there, then you go into bed. Television is not the best for your body and getting you, ready for bed. The frequencies and all that, it's stimulating you. So even though you do fall asleep, I'm sure it's messing with your body's natural rhythm and sleep pattern, having those, constantly barraging you. It's stimulating you. So a huge thing that I've done and that it's hugely powerful is create a ritual. We are beings who like ritual, right? Like routine, like habit. So you need to habituate yourself for sleep time. So for me, I start playing some sleep kind of music and I start stretching on the floor and I turn off the lights. So, I'm turning off the lights. It's telling myself, hey, it's time to shut off. I have the quiet, calming music, which is slowing me down mentally. And I'm stretching, which is releasing tension in my body, which is then also releasing tension in my mind, getting me ready and primed for sleep. So come up with some kind of ritual for yourself that you do daily around bedtime that will let your body and your mind know, hey, it's time to retire for the evening. And lastly, work. So for work, again, as we talked about, what's your level of expression and kind of the meaning you have in your work, the influence that you feel with the work that you're doing. This is huge, and I heard you for a couple things you said was, waking up in the morning, dreading the day, and feeling like it's Groundhog's Day sometimes. And we talked about that movie a little bit, and at the beginning of the movie, it was this depression, this lack of appreciation for his world, for his life, a lack of meaning and purpose in what he did. And as we talked, that feeling of expression and purpose and meaning and passion in what you're doing directly translates to your metabolism, how fast or slow your metabolism is. So not only that, it's going to help you physically in your body and with your exercise and what you're doing, but it's also going to just pervade the quality of your life. So I have something in here that shouldn't be right there. But so the whole name of the game for practical tips to implement this is what's called reframing. We all have kind of interpretations of the world and how things happen and how we respond to things. We see things a certain way and then we respond based on our interpretation of it. So you see your work a certain way, you value your work a certain way, you in relation to the work that you're doing, to the people that you work with, you have a certain relationship with, right? Is that relationship empowering or is it disempowering? Do you feel expressed and do you feel influential at work and with the people that you're working with and your clients? Or do you feel like you're just kind of doing what you're told or, going through the motions? How do you feel? And when you get in touch with how you feel about it, which again seems like it was kind of evidenced in the waking up dreading the day and Groundhog's Day, get in touch with then the thoughts that you hold about your work, about who you are, and your place in your work environment and in life in general. How do you feel? How do you think? How do you see things? And the work is to then reframe your relationship to work environment, to your coworkers and everything in a more positive light. What makes you feel more influential? What makes you feel more meaningful, about the work that you do? How can you be more expressive and take more ownership and authority, in your day-to-day work environment, where when you think about your work, you go, yeah, I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing because of this. This is meaningful for this reason. I'm impacting people's life in this way, and that's meaningful to me. I'm able to do this, which is a skill set of mine that I love, that I'm able to, bring to the table. So that's the name of the game, is reframing. And you're going to find, I believe largely, that when you start doing it, this is going to then kind of reinforce kind of your dietary choices. Because I know I've found out, and I'm sure you have as well, that when you make poor choices eating, a lot of times it's really just like you said, I heard you say, because you're bored, or maybe you got in an argument with mom, or something happened where you're frustrated and you're using that as a coping mechanism rather than your own mind to kind of transform the story going on in here to a more empowering one, so you don't need that tool of food to kind of cope with what's going on. You can do it yourself. So those are the different dimensions we talked about. I want to next go into kind of a specific daily meal plan. If you eat, like I told you, just whole foods, eat in moderation, you're not eating big meals, you're eating, fruits and vegetables and all that, you're going to lose weight. You're going to be getting the kind of calorie intake that you need. You're not going to be getting excess in your diet. But to give you a specific quantifiable idea of what you could do, I have kind of a little meal plan here laid out. You're looking at, for your age and for your weight, you're wanting to drop weight, about 2,000 calories is what you would want to get ideally. So I have this meal plan. And I've got the calories laid out as well as the protein laid out for this food. You got breakfast, a snack, a lunch, a snack, dinner, and even dessert. So for breakfast, 4 eggs, a cup of broccoli, a snack, a quarter cup of almonds and a banana, lunch, chicken breast and a side salad, snack, a Zone bar, dinner, a steak, quarter cup of quinoa, cup of Brussels sprouts, and dessert, 5 cookies and a cup of milk. And that's gonna put you right at about 2,000 calories. Now, with this, you can switch the foods around. You can have, instead of, a cup of broccoli, you can have some peppers or some, carrots, or, you can mix it around and change these things around, but it's the kinds of foods, the protein sources, the vegetables, the kinds and the quantity that you want to kind of honor when you're doing your meals. So with each meal, you see there's a healthy serving of vegetables and a healthy protein source. Fruits and vegetables in here. So that's kind of a basic idea what your daily intake should look like. Now, those are numbers, so it's not as appealing as pictures. So I've got below that meal plan, I've got some examples of what meals should look like. And this is embodying what I said earlier about, rich colors in your meals. So if you just look at these meals here, if you just had 3 of these meals, choose 3 of these and had those for your meals in the day, then you had some, 2 snacks throughout the day, boom, you're at about 2,000 calories, you're good to go. You're gonna lose weight, especially if you continue exercising like you are. But the main thing is, again, the variety and diversity in color, food types, food sources is what you wanna go with. So let me know if you have any questions on that. I'm also gonna include on here, got my you have a lot of it already in this document, but I'm gonna include my meal plan core philosophy document. It has a lot of these same things, but I'm gonna include it just in case if you wanna look through it. My exercise routine core philosophy, so you can kind of look through that in a little more detail. And then as well, my personal exercise program I've got in here. I'm gonna share it as a Google document, and you can go in there and I've got some notes saved on a couple different things. We're kind of going into my rep and set scheme, how I warm up. So you can go in there and look at what I do personally. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you. And if you got any questions or anything, please let me know. I appreciate you kind of being patient and me getting this back to you. But I wanted to be thorough. I wanted to really give you the most that I can. So let me know if this is confusing at all, if it's helpful, not just if it's helpful informationally, but I really want it to actually be powerful and you actually implementing it in your life and seeing the changes. So let me know, please, and I hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.